Do you feel stress at work? Look at all that news you bring us from the city and the emphasis and the importance on your shoulders to get it right. Do you feel stress?
Sometimes, mainly when I'm on air talking to you, Eamon, but the rest of the day is absolutely fine.
Okay, the rest of the day is fine. He just turns to alcohol after that, because it is claimed that millions of people do suffer stress at work, but they aren't getting the support from their employers. And we've got figures to back all of this up. We've got a stress management author, Shah, is here now, and there you see 90% people suffering work stress. Pretty frightening. Are they suffering it, or why are they suffering it?
It's a great question, and you ask a room full of people to hold their hands up if they experience stress. Everyone will hold their hands up. It's epidemic proportions. It is literally a parasite that's infecting modern society. The challenge is that the pace of modern life has increased massively.
Yes.
You've got your devices in your pocket.
Devices are a curse now. Even on holiday, my friend.
No, absolutely. We don't switch off. We wake up in the morning and you turn to your device. It's on until you go to sleep. In fact, 27% of smartphones in the UK have got fecal matter on them because people don't switch off long enough to use the bathroom in peace.
Maybe too much detail there. But
sorry for those of you.
We even bring them from the loo.
I've
never done that, Isabel. Have you done that? No, I haven't gone that far. No.
When you talk about a society where people don't switch off, we are always on, there's a price to pay. There is a consequence to that. And this is where I think that many people are getting to the point where they're literally overwhelmed. They just can't cope. Yeah. They're exhausted.
I asked Mark, it was actually a serious point to what I was talking to Mark about there, because I was just thinking last week, when I started out as a reporter in the 1980s, there was only so much time where you could be contacted. There were no mobile phones. You had to use phone boxes and hard lines and that sort of thing. Now you are never out of contact. It is a 24-hour society.
Absolutely. And if you think of, of looking at it from a sports perspective, a 100-metre sprinter that's running a 100-metre race, and just before they're about to start, we whisper in there, we change our mind, we want you to run a marathon, 26.2 miles, at the same pace and the same intensity you're intending to run the sprint. It's not possible, but most people in modern life are pushing themselves harder and faster.
And they're being pushed. 39% of them say they've been given too much work. Unrealistic deadlines, overtime and harassment by bosses all come into play here, and 1 in 7 say as a result they turn to alcohol to try and cope with their issues. What is the answer? How do you deal with this, or is it just life, you've just got to suck it up?
Well, alcohol is one of the common strategies we apply. The others, nicotine, refined sugar products, people turn to chocolate, biscuits, cakes, sweets, and caffeine. I'm pretty sure the Sky News studio wouldn't function if the coffee machine wasn't working.
Yes. Yeah.
But the challenge is that we're turning to stimulants. When you're stressed, your body's gone into the fight or flight state, you are stimulated already. Putting in additional stimulants, all it does is it fuels you to continue being stressed rather than breaking the state.
This is so true. I am in a constant state of stimulation, and that is what is wrong. That is what's wrong, and you seek comfort when things you shouldn't.
And then it produces this cortisol, the stress hormone, and that's really bad for your health. And is it true there are links to cancer and fertility problems?
Yes, look, these are all the bad things. What do you do?
Yeah,
what do you do then to counteract it?
And that's a great question, because ultimately...
That's two great questions I've asked you there. Look at the pressure you're putting me under to come up with a third.
And considering you're under stress because you haven't had a good night's sleep...
I haven't.
Yeah, I've heard. And we've got to bear in mind something like sleep is not only a symptom of stress, it's also a cause of stress, because when you haven't slept well, it's very difficult to function in your normal state. So part of it is having downtime, having time to relax and unwind. I was having a conversation yesterday with someone about workplace stress, and there's a lot of smokers that swear that their stress levels are reduced when they go for a cigarette. And you know what? They're absolutely right.
Yes.
Let me clarify my point here. I'm not suggesting people take up smoking.
But I can see what you're saying there. You can see people visibly unwinding when they smoke or when they drink.
Exactly. They will go outside. They will get some fresh air. They physically remove themselves from the environment that causes stress. They might have some social interaction whilst they're away from their desk. But sadly, it's not socially acceptable to go for a fresh air break. If you were my manager and I said to you, I'm just going for a fresh air break 5 or 6 times a day, you'd be like, what are you up to?
Hold on, just ask my producer. Laura, can I go for a fresh air break?
I'll come too.
There was no need for that sort of language. But anyway, okay.
But that's the point. And actually, we are discriminating non-smokers in Britain today. It's not socially acceptable to go outside for a fresh air break. We don't have fresh air shelters for non-smokers. We've got smoking shelters for smokers.
All right.
So why not make it okay for people to have time away from their desk, which actually increases productivity and efficiency?
Why not, indeed? Why not? Lovely hearing from you. Very, very interesting. All that. You wouldn't leave your card. We'll have one each.
Yeah.
Sure, I will leave a few on the table.
Leave a few on the desk there. Thank you very much indeed. Here's Big John with the